What's up, party animals? Manny Lore here with an all-star break edition of the Study Minute presented by Fantasy Cruncher. As always, I got three topics for you. First, Sharks go out with a bang. They destroy Sunday. One binks this one, the other one binks the other one, and they're all happy on Sunday. I'll let you know the tallies coming up. Topic number two, always my tip. This week with no baseball, I'm doing an NFL beginner series on this podcast only. Today I talk about floors and how I implement them into my NFL lineups. A lot of you have been asking. I have some answers for you. And topic number three, All-Star break fail from the sites. There's absolutely nothing in the lobbies except some winner-take-all showdown slates on Draftkings. I'm not sure if that was by design, but that's what we got. All that and more on the Study Minute, baby. Let's go. Sharks destroyed, absolutely destroyed Sunday. And Sharks, I mean absolutely all of them, every single one of them. I'll get to them right now, but it was a way where if you are on point with your roster construction and you differentiated enough and you landed on, say, the Angels, the chalk pairing of Thornton and Corbin was great. You had a phenomenal day, really, and that's exactly what you saw from Sharks. Pretty much in the biggest tournaments, they were all there, top 10, really, in every single one. Dark Maniluk was the one that took down the medium seventh inning stretch for 50,000, right? And it's exactly what I talked about. He had Corbin, Thornton as his main pairing. Most of the Sharks did up here. If you use I'd even say if you use standard projections, you should have been on those two guys. Thornton was great, especially for his price. Corbin had a monster game. And then if you had the Angels, and you should have had the Angels if you diversified correctly, the Angels, five-man stack Angels, in this case, Trout, Ohtani, Calhoun, Simmons, Fletcher was phenomenal. The fillers for Dark Maniluk were great. Grandal and Aguilar, who had 2 home runs, did well. And then Robel Garcia had his own home run. Most of the Sharks did the same thing. It was some sort of Thornton and another top-tier pitcher. In Chipotle's case, it was Aaron Nola. Piano Club had Corbin as well. The top 5, top 6 looked like this. Dark Maniluk took down the 50K. Chipotle took down the 20. And the 10K went to Piano Club. If you continue, AWESEMO, Chipotle, Piano Club again. Dark Maniluk in 8th again. AWESEMO in 9th. They just destroyed that tournament. And that seemed to be the case for most tournaments on this day. Papa Gates took down the Fence Buster for another 50,000. He did that one with Hendricks and Junis, right? And he had Boston in there. JD had a pretty nice day. Betts did whatever, but Bogarts was all right. And Christian Vasquez did okay. A Cleveland-Boston double stack there, took him to the promised land. And then if you looked at the extra inning, Dark Maniluk got second in there too with the same lineup. Utica was in there. Ricky D was top 5. Giant Squid, Piano Club. Same guys over and over, same combination, some sort of the Angels. If you had some of Boston, I think that was just one lineup. But some of the Cleveland guys did well. They also scored 11 runs. It was a fairly standard day for Sharks. They played their style. They went into the All-Star break on top. And I didn't want to point one person out specifically because they all did well. But they had pretty good nights. I didn't get to play. Just kind of rewinding, going back, I would have landed on Thornton Corbin a ton. I would have differentiated enough where I would have gotten LA. So would have loved to play the slate. I was out since the very morning and couldn't. But Sharks go out on top. That is it. There's no more baseball on Monday. Today, Monday, there is no more baseball until Thursday, but that's a one-game slate. So unless you play Showdown, you're not playing that. The main slates start back up again on Friday and should be great. I mean, I'm excited to start the second half of the season and finish off strong. I've been playing well. I've been playing much better, and I'm excited to get to the second half. So that's that. Congratulations, Sharks, going into All-Star weekend or All-Star break. Topic number 2, and I always do a tip in this one, so I'm pretty excited about this right now, and kind of before, if you heard the intro, doing an NFL beginner week where all my tips this week will be NFL beginner tips. So I've gotten a couple DMs, a couple Discord messages asking me when are either videos going to be up on lineup study, when the NFL lineup study is going to be up. so you guys can start studying, past Millie makers or whatever, and really dig deep. And now that we have a break into NFL, that isn't quite ready yet, and we haven't released that yet. It's not out to the public, at least not for right now. So I will get into an NFL beginner week where I talk about some beginner stuff for NFL. One thing, and you guys know this from last year if you followed my content, I always preached to play good players. I cannot reiterate that enough. And sometimes people take it out of context to the point where they are flat out just unchecking people from their pool. And I don't think that's the right way. That's definitely not how I do it. But I do have some sort of threshold that limits my player pool. So my number one tip in this beginner series will be limit your NFL player pools. I don't do that with NFL, with MLB, I'm sorry. I do it with NFL and NBA. I do it because I value a floor much more than anyone else. You guys have heard the running jokes about Michael Gallup and Cortland Sutton and these guys that I have no faith in from week to week. I even remember last year we talked about it on SiriusXM today or yesterday. It was Matt Lacoste or whoever Lacoste was a chalk tight end last year, one of those weeks. And I think it was because he was 2,000, 2,500 or 3K minimum salary, whatever it was. And he was like 20 or 25% owned only to give everyone a 0. Like that is legit what happens when you choose to roster these guys that have extremely low floors. I do this every single week. I do have a method, a threshold where I limit players. I use a projection threshold. That would be my advice to you guys. Don't play bad players. A lineup full of not just Zeke and McCaffrey, but a Chris Godwin when there's no one else there. Keenan Allen and Stephon Diggs is much better than Antonio Brown and Cortland Sutton. It's just, for me, that's just how I've always been. I like playing really good players. I like turning on a TV and for my player to be on the screen, catching passes or being in the mix or getting a target every single series. Some guys you cannot say that for, and that ends up biting people in the butt quite a bit. So for me, it's create a threshold, eliminate bad players, play the good ones, and let it ride. I do it every single week in NFL, and I wouldn't say it's my biggest edge, but it's something that I do take pride in, and I can never forget to do because I've tried it without eliminating players, and it's a complete disaster. So I strongly advise that if you're going into NFL Rewind and kind of rewinding the past, try that. Tell me how your scores come out. I'd love to hear it, and I'd love to help if I could. Tweet me at mlaura. I'll gladly help and give you any input I can. Topic number 3, and this is a bit crazy. As I'm saying this, by the way, because I recorded this in the morning. As I'm saying this, they keep adding tournaments to the All-Star break lobbies. So the lobby as of right now doesn't look all that impressive. And while I was making the intro to this, they actually had, I think, 4 or 5 winner-take-alls, and that's it. Since then, they have added, but it's still winner-take-alls on the top. It's fantasy golf millionaire satellites, and then a bunch of 10 boosters, quintuple ups, triple ups, and double ups, all that are really, really tiny. I'm not sure if they're going to do anything, period. I go to the FanDuel homepage. There's absolutely nothing here either. This is borderline ridiculous. They don't even have an MLB tab available right now. So kind of weird. I think they should do something, at least to give us some sort of sweat, right? At least in the All-Star game, let us be degenerates and just wager money on whatever we feel like. But pretty interesting that they have absolutely nothing. And there is a showdown slate on DraftKings, right? You do have some winner-take-alls. Make some tournaments. I'm not quite understanding this one. I'm not sure if there's some regulation I'm just not seeing, if you can't run actual tournaments, or maybe I'm just too early to jump into this to see actual tournaments. I can't imagine they'd leave the lobby like this. There has to be something. Golf doesn't start till when? The 18th or Thursday, sorry. That's, for me, I don't play Wimbledon, so I'm not into tennis. NBA Summer League, good luck with that. I mean, the tournaments first aren't big enough. There's absolutely nothing in the lobby. NASCAR Sundays, CFL's Thursday, League of Legends is on a Wednesday. There's nothing to play, man. A true break. I'm not sure how I feel about this, man. Not sure how I feel about this. Pretty weird to say there is nothing to do on Monday for me. I haven't said that in quite a long time. Thank you guys for listening. As always, I love it if you could rate, like, and subscribe, number one. But number two, again, I'll reiterate this, podcast only. This won't be on my live streams, which take place on Twitch. I am only doing this on the pod. I'm giving an NFL Beginners Series tips, or whatever you want to call them, every second topic of every episode this week. So hopefully you guys tune in tomorrow. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I hope you had a lot of fun hearing. I'll catch you guys back tomorrow.